Hi, James here with Your American Flag Store and the new host of Your America's Podcast. Today, I have a quick little message for Tennessee, a warning for Tennessee. We've lived here for 4 years, moved here from California. Actually, what I'd like to call is we defected from Commyfornia. We've been here for 4 years, and I've gotten to move around a little bit in the state and kind of seen some. I've gone to all the major cities now: Nashville, Memphis, Chattanooga, Knoxville, which is kind of a neighboring county of ours. And a little bit shocked what I saw. We came here to Tennessee for one simple to get the hell away from California and everything that the Democrats have turned that state into. That state, my family moved there in 1978. I was about 3 years old. Obviously don't remember any of that move. But I do remember my young childhood, growing up there, never having a worry in the world about crime or anything like that. It was a beautiful state. Lived there all through my early teens and late teens, and I was a young adult there. Got married there, started my family there. During that whole time, specifically, really through my high school years, when I really started seeing something was really off in that state, and I didn't have the consciousness to really see that the changes and what it really meant. But I started calling it out in even high school with history teachers and stuff that used our classroom to brainwash my classmates into thinking something. I would challenge a teacher. They just kicked me out of the classroom because they can't have a disruptor of the indoctrination process in there. In school. So I knew in high school that something was off. All the values that I have today, I've had for them. And I mean, there's nobody in my history that will dispute that. I knew that liberals were evil then. I know even more so that they're evil now. But what I saw in California was this slow rollout over about 20 years, 25, maybe even 30 years. And the further it got in the rollout, the more aggressive the changes became, to the point where right before we defected, the reason I call it defecting was that Gavin Newsom was proposing a tax if you moved out of the state of California. So if you didn't like his policies and knew how bad they suck, he was going to penalize you with a tax. That seems dictatorish to me. So what I'm seeing now in Tennessee is something very similar. My entire childhood, I watched governors come and go, and really there was never really a true Republican since Reagan. I mean, sure, you had the Pete Wilsons and the Dugmasians and that fake Republican Arnold Schwarzenegger, the F your freedom during COVID. Remember that? Guy is not a conservative, hasn't been a conservative for years. Maybe when he first got here and where he came from was fresh in his mind. I believe he was not what is it? Where did he come from? Doesn't matter. The guy, when he moved here, it was the Nazi Germany thing was kind of fresh in his mind. His parents lived through it, and he forgot. The guy has become that guy. F your freedoms during the COVID lockdown. So those three, Pete Wilson, Governor Dugmasian, and Schwarzenegger, were the only so-called Republican governors in the last, 30 years or so. And they were rhino things. I mean, Dugmasian wanted to balance a budget. That was, definitely a conservative value. Wilson was a little bit harder on crime. That's definitely a Republican value. Schwarzenegger was none of it. Schwarzenegger is just a sellout, is all that guy is. We have not had a true Republican since Reagan. So during that time, California went from the most beautiful place on earth, my opinion, to a complete and total crap hole where it's legal to poop on the street, shoot drugs on the street, there's no penalty. You can rob. It's not robbing unless it's over $1,000. I don't know if you've heard about this. So I'm seeing similar things about to happen here. Sure, we're not to that here yet in Tennessee, but it's coming. All the precursors to that we actually made, my wife and I actually leave. What I was seeing in high school and shortly after high school, I'm seeing here in Tennessee now. What they're going to do is they're going to take over 3 or 4 of the major cities, and once they do that, you can kiss Tennessee goodbye. Tennessee will be not Tennessee anymore. It'll be like California. So right now they have their stronghold. Their core stronghold is Memphis, Nashville. They pretty much got that on lockdown with the dumb, and pretty soon it looks like they're going to get Chattanooga, and then right after Chattanooga they're going to go after Knoxville. Once they get Chattanooga or Knoxville, Tennessee is gone. So Tennesseans, take it from someone that watched this my entire life in California, escaped California to come to your great state of Tennessee for a new life, to live the life so my kids could live the life that I lived as a child in California. We saw that here. That's what we moved here for. And I'm telling you, I see what was happening in my teens in California happen here now. We're going to lose the state. We cannot afford to lose Chattanooga and Knoxville to the Democrats. If we do, kiss this state goodbye. Your beloved Tennessee Vols will be the Tennessee. Never mind. I'm not going to insult your Vols. I'll get run out of the state. But it's not going good, and I just can't emphasize enough what I saw in California as a teenager and in my early 20s is happening here in Tennessee now. We've got to get out to vote. If you want to save Tennessee, there's only one way. One, you got to vote. You have to vote conservative in everything. Get all these liberal. I mean, there's a couple good ones. There really are. There's a couple good ones. Representative Towns in Memphis. When I testified to Congress, he supported us. And I really do think that guy's got a good heart. I could see it in his eyes when he heard our story. I could see that he was emotionally connected to our story and made some great suggestions for our legislation that were great. And it came from a Democrat. So I know there's room here for Democrats, but there's some that are just should not be there. So Tennessee, please vote your Christian conservative values. If you want to save your state, if you want to save your way of life, if you want to keep this state as great as it's always been, vote your Christian conservative values. It's the only way that you're going to be able to save it. I just can't emphasize enough. This state is going to go. It's another 15 to 20 years down the road, but the change starts now. You got to nip it in the bud now. If they get too much momentum, there's a point of no return, that event horizon, and it's now. That's where we're at. It's now. We let this go another election or two, and Chattanooga gets strong blue or Knoxville gets strong. Forget about it. It's over. You'll never get it back. I hope this is delivered to you. I hope you understand. I just care about this state. I moved here for a very good reason, because I wanted my kids to have the same type of life I did when I was a child, and hopefully they could raise a family in it. And I saw Tennessee as one of those stronghold states. And now that I'm here, I'm seeing the Democrats do their dirty work. So please, from someone who witnessed it for 43 years in California, the slow rollout of communism, it's starting here now. You get out and vote. You got to vote Trump and vote vote your Christian conservative values. That's the only way to save Tennessee.